stuff. I'm just saying, if you're going to exit at some point, if you want to actually take this magic internet money and go do real world stuff with it, some people like to do things like that. You don't have to exit completely, but take some of your profits and go do something. If you're going down, if you do it at the top and you think things are going down afterwards, the yield, you're looking at your yield. Hey, maybe it's really high today, but maybe in a few weeks or a few months, you're not making as much. You can't live off the yield anymore. And now you just lost a bunch of value of the coins. So how do you reconcile that, Jesse, too, with, people wanting to leave money in because they don't want to, exit their money makers, but also thinking, hey, if you believe in market cycles, things do go down over time and your yield is not going to be you're not going to get the best bang for buck for your yield anymore.
I mean, yeah, everyone needs to understand this concept of earning off of their existing assets. It's really important to things like earn protocol, but it's tried and true, like in the real estate industry too. Look, you can buy a house, you come out of pocket a bunch of money at first, and regardless of market conditions, that house may go down or up in value. But if it's a good market that has where people like to rent, you're always going to have a check coming in. And it's only a matter of time. Could be 10 years, 20 years, 30 years before you earn back your initial. But at some point along the way, are you going to hold that forever? You could still decide to sell. Like, even people who rent houses occasionally sell a house. And they use that money and they go buy a different house and they start renting that one instead. Like, it happens. People will always sell. You cannot prevent people from not selling. You can encourage everybody to earn a yield. What do you do when the yield just what happens if nobody sold and the price just went straight up? So the yield people were earning also was going straight up. Well, people are still selling because they're going to extract that yield. They're going to take the loan tokens or the earn tokens or the PHUX tokens or whatever, and they're just going to dump that and extract all that value. What about Hex? It's impossible not to sell some. The price you pay for that game is volatility. Dips are in the game, is what Richard says. And that's simply because you stake it and you get more of it. But the only way you're ever going to buy anything with it is if you sell some of it. So yeah, cool. You could stake it for the rest of your life and then you can die and then pass on your stakes to your children. And you can live your whole life never selling a single Hex coin. Is that how you want to live your life? At some point, people will always sell. But encouraging good behaviors of earning yield along the way so that it's not only selling is also a good idea. And remember the math we did that one time, selling versus not selling. Mm-hmm. If you started with 20K and I started with 20K, and if the price doubled and you sold on a double every time the price doubled, what would you have after 10 doublings? You would have, okay, so 20K turned into 40K, you sell half your bag. You have 40K. But you have 20K in the original asset. It doubles in value, you sell again. You have another 20K. You do this 10 times, you would have $220,000. Yay! Congratulations. You turned $20,000 into $220,000 because you sold half your bag every time the price went up 2x. Congratulations. What an amazing story. You had huge gains. You had just over 10x gains on your money, right? Mm-hmm. But the funny thing about this is I never sold. I started with the same coins, 20K, and I decided not to sell. And they went to 40K. And I still didn't sell. And then it doubled again, and it went to 80K. Then it went to 160K. Then it went to 320K. And after 10 doublings, my coins are now worth $20,420,000. 10 doublings. 20 times 2 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 times 2. 20 million, $400 some thousand.
The power of holding.
Okay, that is the power of holding and not selling. And the only reason that's possible is because every time you sold, you're simultaneously extracting value, but you're cutting your coin count in half. So your future earning potential is now cut in half. And even if it goes up in value again and you sell, you're cutting your coin count down again and again and again. Where I start with this original amount of coins, and I have that earning potential on that quantity the entire time. And we held this, the same time period that you were selling, I didn't sell, and I turned in, my value turned into 20 million some dollars. Okay. Now the temptation was too great along the way. I couldn't bear it. It was too difficult for me because I saw you and you were so happy that you were, your first sell and your fifth sell. And it's like, oh man, wow. You made your first 100K off of that 20K. Oh my goodness. But I'm holding. How can I beat the temptation of doing the same thing that you're doing? And that is the power of lending. So while you're selling, I'm going to say, you know what? The temptation's too great. My 20K is now worth, 400K. I want to sell really badly, but I really think this thing is still undervalued. So I'm just going to hold, but I'm going to collateralize it and I'm going to take a loan out against it. Why? Because if the value goes down, even if I'm liquidated, man, I just locked in those profits. It's like a stop loss. But if the value goes up, I have the future earning potential on all those coins, and I continue to balloon my value bigger and bigger and bigger. And all I have to do is chase, or like a trailing stop loss, chase my collateral health behind that so that I can actually capture the most amount of value out of the coins that I'm collateralizing. That's how I lock in, not just 20,400,000 some thousand, because I put that money to work for me along the way. If I minted stable coins, for example, if I collateralized PulseX, I got a loan out. I'm like, sweet, I've got this value. I've kept my original stable coins. My collateral health is at a safe level. It would require, an 80% dip for me to be liquidated. I can fully manage that. I can pay back my loan at any time I want to. Okay, I don't think it's going to dip 80% in a single day. But now I've got all these stable coins. Oh, let me put these in the stability pool, or let me go put these in a liquidity providing pool over in PHUX and just earn the yield on these while I wait. So not only did I make $20,480,000, maybe I earned another $5 or $6 million on top of that along the way because I put my value to work for me the entire time. It's a super powerful narrative to collateralize your assets and not sell them. The richest people in the world. Look, I'm super passionate about this because the richest people in the world do not sell. The Donald Trumps of the world, the people complain, where's his tax returns? How come he never pays taxes? It's because he doesn't sell anything. You can't pay taxes if you don't sell, right? If all you do is take loans out against your stuff and then put that money to work, and then you collateralize that stuff and you put that to work, like, there's risks. Absolutely. Markets can go down. You could be liquidated, but you have some pretty good stop loss things built into these sorts of protocols where even in those events, you just extracted a boatload of value because you were able to hold longer than the other people who were doing nothing but holding. or trying to hold, right? Like selling on a double or whatever. That's a horrible way to make money. Sell on a double, half your bag. Now half your bag is gone. Because you'll end up buying back later, by the way. Like if you were to sell half your bag on a double, you'll get that first 20K. You'll spend half of it. You'll go buy some Louis Vuitton. You'll take your wife out on a nice date. You'll do this and that. And you'll feel guilty that you sold some of it. And you'll literally come back in with 5 or 10 of it. And you'll just buy back in and push the price up again. It happens all the time. The way that you make the most value in crypto is hold the longest in a price run up. And what makes that very easy to do is lending.
And it's I think too, just people get really stuck on like never selling and just like never taking prop. I think there's just a lot of emotions to get into it, but I think on the logical side, it's just give me a game where I don't want to sell it. Make the incentive so in my favor that I don't need to sell it, or I want to sell less of it, or I want to roll it into other assets. And that's our advantage on PulseChain is we have all these products. We have a way for you not to have to just market sell this stuff. And again, you got to do your research, figure out you understand this stuff. You know, there is risks, there's liquidations, all that too. But we have the tools to make it easier to not just make these decisions that just cost you a bunch of money, or just make you earn less than you would have. And I think that's the point. It's not this, again, it's easy. It's almost like, I don't like speaking to people like they're dumb. I don't like saying you should never sell your coins just because, deep down, I know they will, but if I just keep saying that over and over and over, maybe they'll sell less of them. Like I just don't speak that way. I'll tell you what I'm thinking. And it is, hey, people are going to do what they're going to do. And I don't blame anyone for taking profits at a certain point. And if they want to use the tools available in the ecosystem to make that hurt the price less, or make more money through it, or hold longer, but like more power to you. I think that's the advantage we have here is you can actually do that